not, if that don't happen, or if he lands it and it don't hurt Chris, then it's gonna be pretty rough for him because Chris is definitely an improved fighter.
Big deal. But who is at the bigger disadvantage? Conor Benn.
But Conor Benn, I mean, this is a guy that's not fought in Britain for 3 years. I think his last fight was in April 2022.
Absolutely. Here's a rewritten version of your piece that keeps the fire, sharpens the language, and tightens the flow while preserving all the key points and personalities involved. Eubank Jr. unleashes a fierce new look ahead of Conor Benn showdown. Chris Eubank Jr. has stepped into training camp with a clear message. He's not just coming to win, he's coming to destroy. Sporting a chiseled physique and a cold, laser-sharp focus, this version of Eubank is different. This isn't just about looking the part, this is a mental overhaul. No smiles, no distractions, just
Definitely an improved fighter. You understand me? And like, even the stuff he's doing now, he's gonna continue to get better, but I think when he came down there with me for that year, it improved his foundation. You understand me? So it made him a better fighter. So he's gonna be hard to beat for anybody, especially a guy that's smaller than him. But we saw Liam Smith pull off the upset at one time, so I know that gave Ben much more hope that he could probably do the same. So it's gonna be a great fight. Both fighters are great fighters. I love both of them. I think Chris is a little bigger and has the advantage because he's bigger, but it's gonna be a great fight.
raw intensity. Every movement, every round in camp carries a warning. Eubank Jr. is locked in, and he's ready to go through Conor Benn to prove a point. But Benn isn't backing down. Fresh off a punishing, high-octane training camp of his own, Benn is looking more dangerous than ever. He's battle-hardened, razor-focused, and every rep he's put in screams purpose. This isn't just preparation, it's a mission. Benn isn't just aiming to win, he's coming to dominate.
Hell, Brooke went up to fight Gennady Golovkin at middleweight. Guess what? There was a hydration clause with the IBF, and Gennady Golovkin makes it absolutely easily, as will Chris Eubank. But it's just, that's our job, and I mean, no need to moan about it. If you didn't want to do it, you didn't have to have it in there. But they know it's not a big deal. But who is at the bigger disadvantage? Conor Benn, coming up 2 divisions. And Chris Eubank just weighs in what he always weighs in. You know, that whole, they're stripping him down to 160. It's his fucking weight. I don't understand. Stop listening to...
And in this high-stakes grudge match, there's no room for hesitation. Boxing legend Michael Watson weighed in with a diplomatic take, praising both fighters as supremely talented and wishing them the best. When pressed for a prediction, Watson remained neutral, but said he's expecting a war and a night of serious entertainment. Tony Bellew, never one to hold back, believes this fight could have been even bigger had it been for a world title. He criticized the timing, saying both men chased separate belts when the real gold was in their rivalry. Still, the stakes couldn't be higher, especially for Eubank Jr., who Bellew says has more to lose. Bellew broke it down.
By the way, that was interesting. Eubank Benn, that's a fight you want to see, no?
That is a fight I want to see.
Good fight, isn't it?
For sure, it is a good fight.
Big fight as well, like stadium, packed out.
Are we saying stadium?
I think so. I think it
Think
does.
we'll do well?
Yeah.
Wembley, Tottenham, Cardiff.
Tottenham,
yeah?
60,000.
That'll work out well.
Yeah, I think Wembley might just be pushing it just a little bit.
I think they can do it.
Only a few certain men can do Wembley.
Boxing's on the big stage.
Agreed.
Look at this.
Agreed.
It's amazing.
You've had a nice little break. I saw you out in Nigeria. Do you feel like re-energized, ready to go again?
You know I do.
I know you do.
You know I do.
Yeah.
But more so, after my last fight, I took some time out. I let my body heal, which I'm still working on now. And I declined some business opportunities so I can focus on the sport, which takes off mental pressure, not just physical stuff. So I let my body heal physically. And then the mental aspect, I've obviously declined some things that are draining mentally. And I went away with family, which is always good. And we're back.
Benn's explosiveness and unpredictability give him a solid shot early. If he's going to win, he has to do it in the first 6 rounds. But if Eubank survives the early storm, Bellew sees the tide turning. Eubank's physicality, his size, strength, and endurance starts to matter more in the later rounds. Bellew summed it up. If Ben doesn't close the show early, Eubank will walk him down late. So, the question remains, can you bank on Eubank Jr. backing up his fearsome new look under the lights, or will Conor Benn...
Genuine beef is with Conor Benn and Chris Eubank. I know they've got the history, like I mentioned, the father's name. Chris Eubank seems quite chilled and quite happy and smiley, but every time Conor Benn comes into close proximity with Chris Eubank Jr., he turns into a roadman killer, doesn't he? He's got serious beef. Every time he gets in his face, he puts it on him. Says he don't like him, he even hates him. He wants to smash his head in. I'm like, is this just selling the fight? Chris Eubank Jr. wins this fight. I'm not sure what doors it opens for him or where it takes him at 35 years old, because in my opinion, at this age of your boxing career, then you've only got 2 or 3 years left to spend.
Ben come in like a storm and shock the world. Your move. Absolutely. Here's a polished and powerful rewrite that tightens the message while keeping the intensity and rhythm you're aiming for. Chris Eubank Jr. unleashes a fearsome new training camp. Chris Eubank Jr. has stepped into this fight with a look that screams destruction. A shredded physique and a cold, steely stare. This isn't just a new version of Eubank, it's a total mindset shift. No smiles, no distractions, just pure intensity. His no-nonsense attitude says it all. Every movement in the gym, every glare, every round, it's a warning. Eubank Jr. isn't showing up.
An end fight. It does absolutely nothing for me.
Really?
Yeah, Chris Eubank Jr. lost to George Groves, he lost to Billy Joe Saunders, he doesn't box, he boxes once a year. He looked terrible in his last fight. He was slow with his jab, he was leaving his chin in the air, his balance looks like it's gone. Conor Benn? What's Conor Benn done?
Not a lot.
He beat Chris Algieri and failed, he's failed that drugs test. We're not seeing him do anything.
Yeah,
he's fought nobody, he's not developed. He's not developed, he's done nothing. So for Conor Benn to jump in there with Chris Eubank Jr., the only reason that fight would be close is because they're probably going to drain Eubank down to 160, a middleweight.
Up to edge a win. He's showing up to dominate. And from the look of it, he's ready to go straight through Conor Benn to make a statement. But here's the question. Does the look match the outcome? Can Eubank Jr. carry this ruthless energy under the bright lights when it counts? Or will Conor Benn, relentless, explosive, and just as hungry, flip the script and shock the world? Drop your take. Is Eubank Jr. the storm, or is he walking into one? Of course, here's a tightened, punchier rewrite that keeps the energy high and the message sharp. Chris Eubank Jr.'s ruthless new look, all business, no mercy. Chris Eubank Jr. has unveiled.
You can make I like parts of each guy. I like the ability of Eubanks when he's right. When his focus is there, when he's right, to be able to do things in a boxing way on the outside. And I love Ben's style and his approach. I do, where being aggressive in a responsible way. In a way a fighter should be, with paying attention to, doing it with defense, a responsibility of defense, and, just proper way to engage somebody, but the consistent offense, looking to, to engage. I think it's an interesting, and again, the thing that the flowers that come with it is the...
Hailed a fearsome new look in training camp. Cut, composed, and coldly focused. This isn't just a physical transformation, it's a full-blown mindset shift. No smiles, no distractions, just relentless intensity in the gym. His no-nonsense attitude speaks volumes. Every glare, every movement, every round, it's a warning shot. Eubank Jr. isn't just preparing to win, he's preparing to dominate. And from the way he's training, it looks like he's ready to go straight through Conor Benn to make his statement. But does the look match the outcome? Can you bank on Jr. to bring this same fire under the lights? Or will Ben flip the script and shock the world? Drop your take. Is this new?
There's size advantages with Chris. There's experience at fighting at a higher level with Chris, but there's also a lot more wear and tear on Chris. Chris is getting older. making 160s getting harder, but just getting older as a is a fact. Age catches up on us, and I thought his last fight, I did think he looked old. So there are a lot of factors to this fight. There's Conor Benn's not boxed at the level. Not that Chris is an amazing level, but he's not had the same sort of experience as what Chris has had. But also he's sharper, he's faster, and we've seen that Chris can get knocked out. So
New, dangerous version of Eubank Jr, the real deal, or just the calm before Benn's storm? Let me know if you want to throw this into a caption, article, or hype reel script. I can style it however you like. Absolutely. Here's a more distinctive, stylized rewrite with fresh phrasing while keeping all the core points and drama intact. Chris Eubank Jr. Cold focus, ruthless intent, a statement in the making. Chris Eubank Jr. has stepped into training camp with a presence that's hard to ignore. Sculpted, stoic, and storm-ready. This isn't just a glow-up. It's a signal. He's walking into this fight with one
now brought into the present. So yeah, that's good, and I'm glad Chris and his dad have made up, because I know that they seem to have had the problems and stuff. So that's good to hear. As for the show and for the for the hype, that just adds to it. It's going to be nuts, obviously.
What you're saying in regards of two things here, how much of that Conor Benn having to make up that weight where Eubank is, and also the rehydration, which kind of limits Eubank for the next day. What do you think about those situations?
Well, I'm not a fan of rehydration clauses, to be fair. When it's, I get the IBF is world title fight, that's their rules, not a problem, £10. But when it's not a title fight, if you're picking a fight against a guy that's a lot bigger, you're believing that you can beat that man. Well, for me, I'm like, well, if you stick a rehydration clause on him, then you're saying you can only beat him if he's not able to be what he would be against somebody else's own weight normally. So you're kind of cheapening the value of your win if he was to win. But I also heard, I'm sure, that Eubank said that he only puts on about £8-9 anyway. So really, if that's the case, then it doesn't really make any difference. So crack on. The question for me is, does Eubank stay strong getting to 160? Because in his last fight, it's also the first time I've looked at him and thought, you look old. So I don't know. Ben's going to go in there swinging, guns blazing. I don't know what he walks around at. He's not really been a puncher at light middleweight when he's boxed, that sort of weight a couple of times. I don't know. It's interesting. It's one of those fights where you think that the bigger man should win and he should be able to do a job on him, but the pace and intensity that Conor Benn's going to bring as well, it could catch him.
Mission, destruction. This is more than muscle. It's a mindset. No smiles, no distractions. Just unshakable focus and ferocious discipline. Eubank's no nonsense. Demeanor speaks for itself. Every rep, every round, every icy stare, it's a message to Conor Benn and anyone watching. He's not coming to play games. He's coming to take over. He's not showing up to squeak by. He's showing up to steamroll. And from the look of it, he's fully prepared to go through. Benn, not around him, to make his point loud and clear. But here's the real question. Does this terrifying form translate under the lights? Can Eubank back up this energy when the pressure peaks? Or will Conor Benn?
About a long time, and not only that, the fathers have fought each other, they don't get on. So if this is it's like generational history between the guys. So this is where the best man's gonna win. And I think both fighters, it's not like one, they're both at the peak in my opinion. They both are strong. So I think the winner of that fight will cement their legacy of which family was the better fighters.
It's mad, isn't it, when you go like that and you go like, rewind 30 years and you got Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank Sr. and the dislike between them two, the family rivalry between them two, and the kids have both picked it up. Did you ever think that we get Conor Benn, who was obviously a welterweight, Chris Eubank Jr, who boxes high as super middle, come down to middle. Did you ever think we'd get it?
No, I never thought that'll ever happen because, I mean, you can see the size difference. But then obviously with Conor developing and getting stronger, getting bigger, filling out a little bit more, and then obviously with Eubank coming down, he has to dehydrate himself to get down. So they met in the middle. So yeah, respect to both fighters for one going up and one coming down. But I think it's going to be an epic fight. What a fight it's going to be. But I don't know who to pick. Conor is he's a tough fighter. You can't take your eye off Conor. He's got that power. He's got the explosiveness. But then again, if he hits Eubank with the same shot, is Eubank going to go back? Is he going to step back? Is he going to go down? I don't know. I don't think so. So I think skill might win the fight. So I don't know, I might lean more towards, it's a hard one because last time I was saying Conor Benn, but I think now, thinking about the fight and now